Hi, I'm Rob, and in this Gems of War video, I'm going to take a look at a Soulforge and tell you what are the best weapons and indeed troops to craft from there. Also going to take a look at this weekly event troop, the Dark Herald. Anyway, my girlfriend asked me to stop singing Wonderball the other day. I said, maybe. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. Anyway, I've been thinking about taking up meditation too. I mean, I thought it's better than sitting around doing nothing. Alright. Right, Dark Herald. Gains barrier, creates 11 blue lightning gems or creates 11 yellow lightning gems. Oh, wow, that sounds actually really good. Like, potentially really good. In a blue or yellow storm, that could be good, because that's not just going to create mana when they match. Obviously, the lightning gems, like, strike downwards if they're yellow or across when they're blue. So yeah, it could actually be a very good mana generator indeed. Like I say, especially during a yellow or blue storm. And you would cast that obviously on whatever colour you wanted. It uses blue itself. So if you cast it on blue, it's going to have a potential to self-charge. And if you cast it on yellow, you could benefit a yellow using troop from your team. As well as pick up other mana colours of 2 course because of the way that the lightning gems work. Really good. I like that. I think that's got very good potential. All enemies lose 2 random skill points, explode a purple gem at the start of battle, and reduce damage from skulls by 25% is pretty good. Yeah, I reckon I'm going to give that a very solid 7 out of 10. That's a guaranteed amount as well. Like 11. None of this based on how many troops of a certain type you've got in your team to boost the ratio, things like that. It's just 11 straight. Very good indeed. That's 7, borderline 8. I'd have to try it first, but yeah. Really good. Make sure you get this thing. I'm going to get it all the way up to Mythic absolutely straight away. Trying to get this powered up onto level 20. It can help your power levels in your kingdoms. I also like to grab some Spoils of War as well. Not for those lovely treasure maps, but mainly just for the event keys and a little bit more gold. Don't really need it, to be honest, but I just like to show it because for most people this is certainly going to be worth doing. Right, so let's jump into this Soulforge and see what is going on in there. Let's take a look at the weapons first. I'm not going to go over all the ones that are here all the time. They're in my Soulforge extra video. I'll put a link in the description below. Right, while I think about it, don't craft the Doomed Vulge from here. Craft it from the Tower of Doom shop. It's going to be better to get that with gems than it is with diamonds. Diamonds are a lot more tricky to come by, and you have to use Celestials as well. And a whole bunch of amethysts. So yeah, definitely get it from the event shop. Right, let's start again. Can we jump to the top? Yes, we can. Right, so what is the first thing? Doomed Crossbow. Good weapon this. Really like it. Deals magic-based damage to all enemies with a +1 per tempering level boost. Then transform blue gems to Doom Skulls. And if the enemy has a Doom, create 5 more. Gain 3 mana for each red enemy. So really effective against red enemies when it comes to getting mana back at the same time, with that excellent potential for huge damage, because you can check that first, make sure you're going to get some decent alignments, maybe even a 4 match on that transform blue to Doom Skulls. And yeah, very nice indeed. Do like these weapons a lot. Jack-o'-lantern inflicts 1 to 4 status effects on an enemy and explodes 4 gems of their colour. Not that great. Yeah. When you think what something like Essence of Evil does, which casts all status effects on someone and explodes gems, it's like no comparison really. It uses slightly less mana and uses an extra mana colour, which means technically you can get charged quicker. But yeah, not a huge fan of that one. Slightly underwhelmed. Scythe McScytheface. Choose a colour and explode 4 gems of that colour and deal magic +1 damage to all enemies of that colour. So yeah, another kind of collectible weapon though, not actually that great. Many other weapons doing much better things. Sickle of Sin, dealing damage to an enemy boosted by Sin of Mirage allies, then create a mix of 6 red and purple gems for each Sin of Mirage ally. So uses red and purple, uses blue and green, so make sure you're using a couple of troops on your team that actually use red and or purple to benefit from all that mana. Otherwise you're creating it just for a laugh and you probably won't find it very funny. Side of Sin, kind of the anti-Sin of Mirage weapon, removes all red gems, which is the colour Sin of Mirage troops like the most, then deal magic-based damage to an enemy boosted by the gems removed. If the enemy is from Sin of Mirage or if the battle is in Sin of Mirage, deal double damage. So pretty decent in the right situation. Keystone, gain a barrier, then give magic-based amount of life to an ally, then cleanse and enchant them. So it's actually quite useful. It's Ensouled and Blessed as part of its upgrades. 13 mana cost though is a little bit high, that's the only thing. But yeah, it's not diabolical, it's just you're only going to use it now and again when you particularly need those things against a really aggressive type opponent. And you can have Queen Bee and things like that, or Voice of Orpheus, and there's lots of other ways of getting a quick, easy cleanse. So again, not essential, more collectible. Doomed Magi. Create 4 brown gems plus 1 gem per tempering level, then give magic plus 1 armor to all purple allies. If the enemy has a doom, eliminate all armor from a random enemy. So pretty situational based on that. The enemy has to have a doom to benefit from the most by it, and given armor is not always the best because anybody that does true damage is going to be bypassing that anyway. Yeah, it needs to be boosted up, and it creates brown gems when it uses purple. So very specific, that. Very specific indeed. What else we got? Or was that the Bulge at the bottom? No, we got a Bane of Gods. Like these weapons, explodes magic plus 1 purple gems, grants a random status effect to all Sin of Mirage allies, and summons a Sin of Mirage troop. Very handy, these weapons. Explodey, summony weapons, gaining plenty of mana, status effects to all Sin of Mirage troops, and a summon at the same time. Not the best set of upgrades ever, and it does that lovely explodey, summony stuff, which I like. Right, and onto the troops. Go through these, have a look. If there's anybody in there you haven't got and you're a newer player, it's certainly worth crafting a few summoning stones, see if you can pick up a new troop. And we'll start with the bottom of the Mythics. Same as before, all these ones that are here all the time will be in my Soulforge extra video. First up, we have Eye of Arges. Explodes a row. Deals magic-based damage to a random enemy boosted by red gems, brown gems, and skulls in the row. So yeah, that's an okay spell. It's not a huge amount of damage, but one of the best things about this is this create 2 Doom Skulls at the start of my turn. Really powerful with the Great Worm, which also creates 2 normal skulls at the start of its turn. One of the most popular teams you see in PvP still is something like Web Spinner up the top, and then a couple of Great Worms and one of these, or a combination of 3 of Eye of Arges and the Great Worm, just to be really annoying, creating 6 different skull types every single turn, which then randomly match, and then Web Spinner does triple damage a lot of the time. Next we have Zilopochtli. Deals damage to an enemy boosted by purple gems, and if there's a storm, deal double damage. If the enemy dies, create 12 skulls. So kind of like a mini Zol-Goth, apart from you have to guarantee they die to get the skulls in the first place. And a bit of a weird third trait too. Deal 12 damage to a random enemy when matching yellow gems. It doesn't use yellow, it uses blue, green and purple, so that's a little bit strange. But the damage is boosted by purple as well, but you get that extra damage when matching yellow, a bit weird. But the other 2 traits are okay. Inflict death mark when doing skull damage, and immune to poison, disease, lycanthropy and death mark is okay. But again, with no skull reduction protection on its traits either or anything like that, it makes it a bit squishy in first place. So again, a bit weird. Nothing fantastic about Zilopochtli. Unlike Tina 9000, who is rather fantastic, does magic-based true damage to 3 random enemies and gains magic-based armor and a decent amount of it at the same time. So she just unleashes and can just kill people outright, because those 3 random enemies can be multiple hits on the same person, which is really cool. Really handy when you're fighting someone like Zol-Goth or somebody stealthy, and then she just blasts them out of it straight away. Really, really cool. If you're unlucky, you can hit the wrong opponent. She can dance around the one you really wanted to hit sometimes and do the lower end of damage. But most of the time, it does work out really well with Tina. Absolutely fantastic troop, one of the best ones in the game. And the traits are good as well. Create 3 bomb gems when I die. You don't really want to activate because you don't want to die. Spell block, reduce damage from spells by 50%. Really, really good. And add 50% of armor to skull damage. So Really good, because when you cast it, of course, you get that armor increase, and then the skull damage starts going through the roof. Tina, absolutely fantastic. One of the best troops in the game. And we have Voice of Orpheus, one of these troops which is actually improved. For a long time was just like a bit of a rubbish troop, to be honest. And then Elementalist class came along, and that changed everything. Elementalist, you get that burn, stun, freeze, and entangle a random enemy when getting 4 matches. And Voice of Orpheus is still one of the best counters to Elementalist class in the game. Deals magic to an enemy boosted by all ally mana, then cleanse all allies, then give all other allies 5 mana. So you cleanse all allies by the spell, but you also cleanse all allies just simply by matching yellow gems. And he's impervious, so he's immune to all those effects from Elementalists. So with this dude on the team, basically Elementalist can't touch it on its own. It needs to be cursed first to spoil his impervious, and then things can go wrong. But as a standard Elementalist team, Elementalists can't touch him. Yes, they may get some 4 matches, and entangle, stun, burn, whatever, some of your other team, but just by getting a yellow match, he just cleanses everybody every single time. Really, really good. Voice of Orpheus, much better than what he used to be. Alright, so let's just go over these legendaries ever so quickly. It's Manic Monday. You got 4 videos today, potentially even 5, considering there's a holiday event. May do that today, may do it tomorrow. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, Crimson Bat does magic +1, a true damage to all enemies and gains life. Pretty cool. Has undying and double skull damage to wounded enemies. Pretty cool troop indeed. Winter Imp, very good. Does what starts off a low amount of true scatter damage to all enemies boosted by blue gems, and if an enemy dies, freeze all enemies. Freeze all enemies is actually very good indeed, but gain 8 magic on blue gem matches is one of the best thing about it. It's like really good. Just get this on a blue loopy team and watch that scatter damage go through the roof. And remember, it is true scatter damage. Really cool. Emperor Corvash. My goodness, when I started playing this game, I remember this dude being so annoying. It was just like, he just annoying. I saw that crown thing and I was just like, oh my god, how annoying can you be? Does a true damage to the first 2 enemies, stun them and drain their mana. Really cool. True damage, stun. Mana drain is one of the most annoying things in the game. Just about ready to cast, and someone like this comes along and just takes away your mana. Also gains 3 to all skills if in first position. Reduce damage from skulls by 25% and stun a random enemy on 4 or 5 gem matches. But I love the sound effect of that Lion's Wrath, that dong noise, but yeah. Sounds better when it's on my side. So, who else? There's one more somewhere. Saguaro. Does damage to the 2 weakest enemies and gains 10 life and attack. Nothing too fantastic about that. Yeah, but yeah, so I don't normally recommend crafting legendaries. Much better to pick them up from normal chests, because they pop much easier than mythics. But who gets my super coveted not mythic of the week? Well, Eye of Arges is good. Zilopochtli is a bit meh. Voice of Orpheus is definitely a lot better, and a massively improved troop due to that counter to Elementalist, but it has to go to Tina 9000. Absolutely devastating. You can get a 50% start in this as well with Mechanist class, which is absolutely superb, and can absolutely just devastate teams. Absolutely fantastic. So Tina, my mythic of the week. If you haven't got Tina, then go get her now. One of the essential troops in the game for me. Whatever it is, there's the video. I'm back later on with my Tower of Doom team, the epic trials and more. If you enjoyed this one, be sure to bash that like and subscribe button. It really does help. And thanks for watching. Catch you again next time. Bye for now.